I'm a happy guy right now because we got Stacy back, boys. But now we got some work to do. So what is going on, you sick beauties? And welcome back to the channel. If you guys have not seen my last video, I will put a link up top to that because in the last video I showed you guys what happened to Stacy, our STI hatchback. And let me just say, every single STI hatchback owner that has ever let their car see snow or salt, you guys need to watch that video. But in today's video, we finally got the STI back from the body shop, and I am excited to show you guys what they did. Right inside of there, before there was a big rust hole, and now she looks brand new again. Fresh sheet metal welded in there, cut all the rust out on both sides of the car. This side wasn't that bad, so they ended up just sanding it and laying a layer of primer down. And for them to do that, I had to tear apart the entire inside of the car because I didn't want any interior pieces to get burnt from the welding. So in today's video, we are gonna start by getting the entire interior put back in the car. Then after that, we are going to get the right side of the car jacked up. And then once that side of the car is jacked up, I'm actually gonna take some of the touch-up paint that I have, which is World Rally Blue, and we're just gonna lay a layer of paint over top of the primer that they put in there. So here is my little touch-up paint bottle. The paint code is 02C, World Rally Blue. I just got this mixed from my local Napa store. It's not an exact match, but it's not bad. And this is going in the rear quarter, so you're not gonna see it, so it's not a big deal. I just wanna make sure that it's sealed and it looks half decent. The other thing that happened on the way to the paint shop is we got this massive rock chip in the hood. Now, the body shop was actually nice enough to just touch it up with a little bit of blue there, but I'm gonna touch it up so it looks a little bit better with this blue. Even though next spring we're gonna repaint the entire hood and get a new front bumper and repaint that, then we're gonna 3M the entire car. We got an absolute mess of parts going on right now for the WRX, and all the STI parts are sitting on top of the WRX. So let's take this one step at a time since we just got the heads dropped off at the machine shop for the WRX. Let's clean up the back half of the mess and get all the interior pieces put back into the STI. Damn, that looks good. So if you guys take a look in here, you can see the patch job that they did. They basically cut all the rust out and then welded new panels in and literally bent them the exact way that the factory panels were. They did such a good job on this, holy shit. Now the underside, I already started painting a little bit with the World Rally Blue, but they used this black seam sealer on the back here. I want to paint that back to blue. So I'm gonna get a bigger paintbrush, just touch all that up, even though it is hidden under the side skirt. I'm just OCD like that, so I'm gonna paint this and make a nice line, make it blue. And then I'm just gonna spray some rocker guard in here for the meantime. And then eventually this car is gonna be all honey sealed with a wax coating underneath here. But this is just temporary so I can drive it until then. Before we jump into a time lapse though, I just gotta put a side by side here to the difference of how rusty it was before, the big ass hole that was there, and now the nice patch job. I'm happy. Alright, sweet. Figured I'd give you guys a look at the finished product here. Just laid a layer of rocker guard down in there just to protect it while I'm driving for the next week until it can go to the undercoating shop where they're gonna coat all of this. So I'm just coating up to there for now just to seal this off so that no rust starts on those fresh welds there and the fresh new metal. Even though there was primer on there, I'm just being extra safe. Then I went ahead and laid a bead of World Rally Blue paint right on the edge here all the way up the fender. You can barely even tell I did it. And I also did World Rally Blue all along the side here. That's all dirty, so it doesn't match, but if I were to clean all that, this would probably match pretty good. Now that that's all done, I put the heat gun to it just to dry it up a little bit faster and help it cure. But now I'm gonna get the side skirt put back on this side. Then once the side skirt's back on, we can pop the wheel off the other side and we can spray a little bit of undercoating in on the other side as well. We're not undercoating, this isn't undercoating, just rocker guard. Okay, car's back on the ground, and it is actually a couple days later. I haven't been feeling the best, so I haven't been working on the cars much, and I haven't sprayed any rocker guard on the other side of the car, so it's still just primer in there. And I'm not gonna have time to spray it today because we gotta go pick up some parts for the WRX. So when I was tearing apart this engine and taking all the timing components off, getting the cams out, getting the heads taken apart and everything like that, I did notice that like 90% of the timing covers were broken on this thing. So both rear timing covers are broken. Half of the bolt mounting points aren't even like secure anymore. I could pop that out with my finger right now. There we go. She's busted. That rear cover is cracked. This front cover literally has a hole in it. That main front timing cover is actually okay. It just has one broken bolt in it. And then the passenger side outer one is okay. The other thing that I broke on that engine when I was taking it apart was the purge valve. I busted both the nipples off the bottom of the purge valve, which sucks. But this is one of those times where making YouTube videos pays off. And this is a huge thank you to you guys for watching the videos and always showing support, because one of my subscribers from Lacombe, Alberta, his name is Micah, he actually has a full set of timing covers for an EJ205, and he also has an extra purge valve kicking around. So I'm not gonna have time to spray some rocker guard in that left rear panel today. We're gonna take the STI, since the Civic is now at the body shop getting that rear quarter panel replaced, and we're gonna drive out to Lacombe in STI, say what's up to Micah, and pick up some parts for the WRX, because I'm not hacking this car back together like one of the previous owners did when they put this thing together with duct tape on the timing covers and everything broken. I'm gonna replace everything I can to make this thing mechanically solid. The body on her is a little rough though. Sorry if my voice sounds a little bit bad, my head's a little bit plugged up too, but let's get a cold start for the boys on the STI, and let's make this about hour and a half trip out to Lacombe from my house. Hopefully the STI makes it. What the hell is going on with this car right now? We just did a cold start, and it sounds like there is a massive vacuum leak in this thing. But I looked at all my hoses and everything for my whole fuel system, all the vacuum lines, and I can't find any leaks anywhere. So I don't know why it's doing this. I think this is something going on with the tune, because if you watch my AFR, it is hunting all over the place. It's going from 20 to 10 to whatever the hell, I don't know what's going on. I'm gonna shut the car off and I'm gonna reflash the ECU, and let's see if this fixes anything. Here we go. It usually idled okay for the first couple seconds, and then it was going all over the place. My AFR is super rich at idle right now. It's like a 13.6. Yeah, as soon as I got out of the car, it started doing it again. AFR is all over the place again. Now, and I think I figured out our problem. I think we got a bad AFR sensor, boys. This thing is all over the place, and I can feel the car kind of cutting in and out, like it's adjusting like crazy for fuel. I figured I'd toss you guys on the GoPro here, even though it's getting dark out. Do a pull here. Pull's okay. I don't know what we hit there for boost. I should probably watch. Fourth gear pull, we should be hitting like 22.5 pounds of boost, 22.5 to 23, and we're only hitting high 21s. I can still feel the car cutting like crazy right now. What is going on here? I don't even know if I want to drive this for an hour and a half. Okay, so I figured I'd just scan for codes real quick just to see if there's anything, and we have no codes either. This is super weird. And the sensor's reading okay when I do a pull. Then as I'm cruising, literally feels like the car's falling on its face every like 2 seconds. The weirdest issue right now with the STI, cruising on the highway, and my AFRs are literally all over the place, going from 20 to 12 and then back to 20 and back to 12. and it's all over the place. My fuel trims are all staying relatively close to zero, so I don't think the ECU is compensating like crazy. I checked in my engine bay all over the place, and I couldn't find any vacuum hoses or anything like that popped off. I thought maybe it was a vacuum leak. The car's like dying every 2 seconds every time the AFR leans out. Like it's like surging on the highway.
Are you looking at the one on the access port or the one on your gauge, like
Both
your actual gauge?
Both. I have my wideband wired to my ECU, so I can monitor it on the access port and on my actual gauge. And on my actual gauge, it's all over the place. I should look and see what my short-term fuel trim or my upstream O2 sensor's reading too.
Yeah, that's what I would suspect. It sounds like that sensor's on the way out. It's starting to go.
The AFR sensor or the upstream O2?
AFR. The other thing too is check for exhaust leak.
That's what I was thinking too, but I got V-bands on everything there, and there shouldn't be an exhaust leak before. Because I just put that exhaust on like a couple weeks ago, and all the V-bands are tight.
It could be at the header. It could be at the where the header's made up onto the cylinder head, so too, right? Like you can't discount anything pre-sensor, right?
Yeah, true. Yeah, my air fuel sensor 1 ratio, which is your upstream O2 sensor, that one's still stock. It's all over the place too. Both of them are.
Yeah, I would say that's the first. I think your sensor's starting to shit itself.
The factory one?
Yeah.
I think so too, because it's all over the place. Like it's my short-term fuel trim one, the upstream O2 sensor right now, is jumping from 11 to 20, like crazy.
Yeah.
So you think just upstream O2 sensor or an exhaust leak, one of the two?
It's got to be one or the other. I would start with the sensor. That's the quickest way to find out. I mean, like if you got the car up on the hoist, you'd also be able to hear an exhaust leak or smell it too.
Yeah, and I don't hear anything. Okay, it's got to be that upstream O2 sensor one. Then I'll get one ordered up probably this week then. All right, say hi to YouTube. I was recording the whole phone conversation. Everybody gets to see how smart you are.
All right, cool. Hi, YouTube.
All right, thanks, Colin. Appreciate it, buddy.
Yeah, not a problem, man.
Okay, have a good night, dude.
All right, you too.
Okay, bye. Okay, I decided to just pull over on the highway here. I'm going to unplug my upstream O2 sensor here and see how the car reacts with it unplugged. Well, boys, I unplugged the upstream O2 sensor connector, and now she is idling perfectly fine. So I guess we figured out the problem right there. Easy as that. So the check engine light's gonna be on now, obviously, because I unplugged the AFR sensor, but she's idling good. Our AFR is almost back to normal. It's a low 14 now, should be high. But now let's take this thing for a drive and see if it still wants to kill itself on the highway. I don't want to do any pulls or anything like that, but we're just gonna see if she falls on her face when we're cruising. Cruising at 100 now, and she's not falling on her face. Sweet, looks like we just got a bad upstream O2 sensor. Quick, easy diag. Thanks, Colin. I mean, I had my own idea, but I knew, like, I just put that wideband sensor in, so there was no way that wideband sensor was already bad. I've heard lots of stories from other YouTubers that those AEM Bosch wideband sensors go bad pretty quick. So I was scared about that, but I knew that my ECU is not adjusting the AFR based off of my wideband gauge. It's adjusting it based off the factory wideband sensor, which is your short-term fuel trims on your upstream O2 sensor. At least that's a quick, easy fix. All we gotta do is swap that O2 sensor out, but we should be okay to make it there and back, grab our new timing covers and purge valve for the WRX, and then I'll get an O2 sensor ordered up this week for the STI. All right, we made it to Micah's place, all safe and sound. Obviously the check engine light's still on because that O2 sensor is unplugged, but at least we know what the issue is now. When you unplug your O2 sensor like that, your ECU basically just goes into a default rich mode just to keep the car safe. So when I was cruising here, we were cruising at like a 13 AFR the whole way, but the ECU basically just does that to keep the engine safe, because rich equals safe and lean equals bad news, pretty much. All right, we got all 4 timing covers, we got the purge valve and stuff like that. All thanks to this guy right here. I'm gonna shine the light in your face. That's right. And this guy just bought like 7 something cool hoodies. So thanks, dude, appreciate it. Nux with the flashlight. It's too dark out. He also gave me the idea to unplug the sensor on the way here.
So thanks for that too, because she was literally putting my face into the steering wheel on the way here. It was bad. So yeah, he actually did not even charge me. Fuck, I just nailed my head on my hatch. He didn't charge me anything for these timing covers. He just bought a shit ton of hoodies, and I'll give him a deal on some hoodies because he's a sick beauty.
Fuck yeah.
Thanks, dude.
No problem.
Well, boys, Stacy made her home.
Just running off of a wideband sensor.
So the entire drive I just drove with my upstream O2 sensor unplugged, and she was good. So this week I gotta get a upstream O2 sensor ordered up, which is an easy fix. I just gotta swap my wiring loom over to the new O2 sensor, take this O2 sensor out, which should be easy because I just put that O2 sensor in when the car was built, so it shouldn't be seized or anything like that.
So it's already like midnight right now. That was a long drive to go there and back and pick up the timing covers and stuff.
But we did get them, and none of them are broken like the other ones that we have here for the WRX. And both nipples on the purge valve are good, which is sick, so we won't have a check engine light from our other broken one. So since it's so late, the last thing that we got to do on the STI is just spray some rocker guard in this rear quarter panel right here where they fix the rust. So I'm going to do that first thing in the morning tomorrow, but for you guys that'll be in 2 seconds.
And hopefully I feel better in the morning because my nose will not stop running right now and it is super annoying. I need to go inside and get some good old Buckley's or some Advil or Tylenol or whatever in me. All the drugs.
Alright, we got this side all coated up so she won't rust in there in the meantime until it goes and gets all of this undercoated. And honestly, that rocker guard looks so good. I wish I would just do it on the whole quarter panel, but I know that the honey seal stuff that a company in Edmonton called Sublime Surfacing uses is better, so I'm gonna wait until we get it coated there. So now that you guys can see this side, you will see the 2 little holes that I have to drill on the passenger side for the fender liner, which shouldn't be a problem to drill after it's coated,
because I'm not going to be putting the fender liners back in because he's just going to have to tear them apart again to undercoat it, so I might as well leave them off for him because the car is literally going to be going there in like a week. So let's get the wheel tossed back on the Subaru and get her back on the ground. Now that we got the STI all the way back together, that is going to be it for this video. I took the day off yesterday because I felt like a bag of dicks, so I'm a little bit behind now because I wanted to get the WRX running by the end of the week, so we got some work to do. And I got to get a new upstream O2 sensor for the STI tomorrow. So peace out, you guys. Thank you so much for watching. Make sure you like, subscribe, all that fun stuff. I'll see you guys in the next one, which will probably be on Saturday for you guys.